Hey guys, it's Lyoko Gem and welcome to another video. Today we'll be discussing Sonic Prime and all the news that has come with that, as well as the future of the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise as a whole, where we're going, what's happening, and all of that stuff. But this time I won't be alone. Joining me today are three friends from the Sonic community, those being Anima,
What up?
Landy,
Unfortunately.
and Soulite.
Soft shell spaghetti tacos.
They'll be our cast as we dive in on all the crazy news that has happened over the course of the last couple of weeks. So to start with, how do we feel about Sonic Prime and everything that's come with it?
Can I just say I'm so happy that it's like story focused.
Yeah, same. We haven't had like a good like story focused serious tone wise Sonic show since like X. The OVA is one of my favorite pieces of Sonic media ever as well. So something like if the tone is anything like that, then I'm on board. I think Boom was written competently, but it didn't really resemble Sonic. I mean, everybody kind of just knows that it's a spinoff, but like it even as a spinoff, it hardly it feels more like a parody. Exactly, like the writing is all this like just kind of jokey, typical single serve episode cartoon stuff, and I get why people would like that, but on the same token, when Sonic's always like had a focus on narrative from the start and its lore, I think it's important to, also focus on that in a TV show. That's why I liked X so much. That's why I liked the OVA so much. And I guarantee that Prime will probably be up my alley if the things we're hearing are true, with them, kind of modeling the tone. Well, maybe not modeling the tone off of it, but the tone supposedly being similar to like Generator Rex, because that was also Man of Action. I remember the guy on Twitter, Duncan, don't know how to pronounce his last name. I'm sorry. But he was like, it's the tone is like Gen Rex and then maybe a little more. And that's pretty exciting because it tells me that it's not going to be another like parody type series. It's probably going to be tasteful humor here and there, but mostly it's like serious stuff. And that's cool. Not too serious, but just enough to like keep me engaged, so to speak. Sorry, I'm kind of hogging the conversation.
Nah, you're all good.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm very interested in this, especially because they're they say that they're using the world that is already built for Sonic. What that might mean is a little dubious because Sega's own understanding of Sonic is not the best, but they're also having Flynn write that lore book, so maybe it's based on that. I'll get into a little more of my thoughts on that whole thing later on. We could probably have like a discussion about it. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'll have to see the trailer. But for now, I'm impressed with the things that I'm hearing from the people who are involved, such as, just it using Sonic's world and they're just adding to it, which is cool. I'm glad it's just not just some new stupid universe that only uses the characters. I would like to see the characters that I've grown to love with their proper context for existing, which Boom did not really give me. Anyway, you guys have the floor again.
I'm gonna say that I'm the more, I don't know if cautiously optimistic is the word, but like I'm the one who's not as optimistic about what I'm hearing. It's like, yeah, I have like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like, yes, I do like what I'm hearing a little bit, but it's like, it's one of those I'll believe it when I see it sort of situations, because getting my hopes up is something that I'm tired of doing when it comes to Sonic at this current point. And it's like, I really don't want to get my hopes up again just to be disappointed because I'm over here thinking it's going to be something that it's not. And
Forces hurt you a lot, didn't it?
Yeah, sure did.
Forces hurt everybody, man.
And it's just like, because the thing is that when it came to Forces, I let it be known too. that I was on like what other YouTubers call the defense squad for Forces. Like I was heavily defending that game, and I was like, "Oh, you got to give it a chance. The game's not even out yet. The game comes out," and I was proven wrong. I wanted to punch everyone just once.
It's like, guys, it's a work in progress. Guys, it's just a demo.
Not done yet.
Guys, it's the first level.
And this is every excuse under the sun to try to make it seem like that game was going to be good, and then it disappointed me in every way, shape, and form but music. And it's like,
yeah, for real.
And it's like, just like
this series is no stranger. Sorry to cut you off, but this series is no stranger to giving me things that I like to hear, and then just dropping the ball. I'm not sure if this will be the exception. Maybe I'm going into this. I'm kind of with Soul in that I'm cautiously optimistic. Because again, like I said, this series is no stranger to saying cool things and then not actually delivering on them in the way that you expect. So, we don't know if this is going to be an exception or not yet.
I do want to be like excited because again, Man of Action, my second favorite like cartoon in history, was made by Man of Action, which is Ben 10. And it's like they can do great things because Ben 10 is not only my favorite, second favorite cartoon on planet Earth, it's also one of the best cartoons on planet Earth. And it's like they can make good things. So it's like they also made Ultimate Spider-Man. I know not a lot of people vibe with that one, but I do. They made Avengers Assemble. Not a lot of people vibe with that one, but I do. It's like they made things that I thoroughly enjoy and I think are good. So it's like I want to have faith, but then again, I don't know, because the last time I had faith in them, once again, the team that bought you Sonic Colors and Sonic Generations happened. Then it's just I don't want to go down that path again. I kind of don't want to be fully excited until I see like actual show footage, because it's like, boom. For a 3D animated show, looks all right, but it doesn't look the best. And
there's a lot of 3D animated shows that are like that. It's just generally like TMNT 2012 has it, Miraculous Ladybug has it. It's just I think the difference with Boom is that it doesn't have too cohesive of an art style. Well, okay. Yeah. I shouldn't say it's cohesive. I shouldn't say it's not cohesive. It's more just that it's not very good. Like when I look at Miraculous, it looks nice because the characters are modeled well. In Sonic Boom, everybody's modeled like a Sonic fan model.
Code Lyoko has an entire part of the show that's in 3D, and did it start off great? No, but did it eventually become great? Sure did. Like, have you seen the animation difference? Have you seen the animation difference of season 1 of Code Lyoko compared to season 4 of Code Lyoko? Like, when it came to the 3D stuff. It was like a night and day difference, and
I can't say I'm familiar with Code Lyoko, but I will take your word for that.
I've never heard of Code Lyoko.
I just think it's being made towards Mega Man Fully Charged or whatever it's called.
Oh boy, Fully Charged.
Yeah, that's let me just dig into that for a bit, because it's weird. I see so many people bring that up as if it's the only thing that Man of Action has done, but I also see a lot of people retaliating as if it's not kind of an example of what Sonic Prime, is kind of setting up to be, just from the idea of, because, okay, you got to realize Japanese media is constantly misinterpreted by, Westerners and pretty much everybody else that's not Japanese. It's always like when Westerners get their fucking hands on the Japanese property, it's like a dice roll, total dice roll. There's a high chance of just fucking it up. And so Man of Action did just that. They touched a Japanese property, Mega Man, and they fucked it up. At least I've heard people say, oh, it's not that bad of a show, but pretty much everybody I've talked to who is a dedicated Mega Man fan has told me that it is not good. Like, it's like, okay, you can say what you want about it just being a good show or not. If it's not a good Mega Man show, it's already failed because it's called Mega Man, and like, you expect that. Yeah. I'm tired of this kind of mentality of like, oh well, who cares if it's not a good blah 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 show, or if it's not a good blah 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 game. It's like, I'm if you put if you use the license and the title, like what, like you have to hit an expectation of like faithfulness to the source material, and it's just annoying to see that not cared about. And the reason why Mega Man Fully Charged is so relevant is because it's, Sonic is a perfect example of this. We've seen it just toyed with and ruined by Westerners. Like, this is not like about the Genesis's success in the West, because honestly, Sega of America handled the Sega Genesis fairly well in the West, and it was pretty crazy. Tom Kalinske, whatever his name is, just did a fantastic job at just pioneering the Genesis in America. However, Sonic himself was not treated so well in the West. They literally had a Sonic Bible just made by brain-dead Westerners that did not understand the original material and just created a bunch of random crap. Like, Sonic's parents died in like toxic waste or something.
A lot of games back then did that kind of thing, though.
Exactly. Typically Japanese. It was just like you just had like a completely different interpretation because some Americans looked at the material. It's especially damning with Sonic because Sonic was designed to appeal to America, and then Americans looked at it and were like, this isn't American enough. Let's change it up like to ungodly proportions. So Sonic's like, already a huge victim to that. Put it on top of like, hand that to Man of Action, who is, who took Mega Man, a Japanese property, and misunderstood it as well. Just merely hearing the words Sonic series by Man of Action should instill fear into anybody with that kind of context. Because, again, Mega Man is a cut and dry example of Man of Action ruining that shit. But,
well, I mean,
like, then you have the
Mega Man
actual...
hasn't had a lot of shows.
Well, he hasn't had a lot of shows, but I mean, Sonic hasn't had a lot of shows either. There's only really like one show that is truly faithful to Sonic, and that's X. It's, if you don't count the OVA, that is. Mega Man does have a ton of material to work with, though. They have an entire like side series, Mega Man X. So like, it's just it was very, very like scary to see, Sonic series by Man of Action. That being said, what they've stated about using the established world that Sonic has in tandem with the lore book coming out, just that eases my fears a little. It feels like they might actually pull this together pretty well, but only time will tell. Like Soul said, I'll believe it when I see it.
I'm just really hoping Ian Flynn takes the helm for the story for the next game.
Oh, same.
With the thing, because Landy kind of struck a nerve when he said the thing about what he said about Mega Man.
Uh-oh.
And how it's like, oh, you have that property. It's like you have the property, and it's like, oh, it doesn't matter if it's like this, that, or third thing, because whatever the case may be, there are people in the world who try to defend Teen Titans Go, talking about I don't even know why you're that upset. It's a kid show. It doesn't matter. Okay, but you took Teen Titans and made a kid show. That's the problem. Teen
Titans itself is a kid show. You know what else is a kid show? Fucking Ben 10. Like,
but the thing is, it's like you see the difference though. When you see the original Teen Titans, you had you could see the stark difference between what was going on there and what was going on with Teen Titans Go, and it's just like
Go is like it's extremely watered down. It's diluted. You have the characters, but they're just thrown into. I don't even want to go on a tangent about it. I think just saying that it's fucking diluted is enough, honestly. Okay, I can understand why people would find value in that, but if you compare it to the original, it's like, well, what the fuck is this?
Word. Yeah.
Teen Titans Go is a very specific thing, though. I mean, it's like it's a comedy. It's trying to do its own thing, and I guess that's fine. But at the very least, it's trying.
And the thing is, Teen Titans Go, the original Teen Titans was more of story focused, right?
Yeah.
While Teen Titans Go is more of kind of just single serve cartoon. in a
It
sense.
also had a lot more
You can-
intense things going on with it, because like you had things like the whole Red X thing with Slade getting into Robin's head and making him fight the other members of the Titans, and you have things like Raven fighting against Trigon and all this other extra stuff, and it's like all that type of deep story stuff that seems like it was kind of ruined when you got to Teen Titans Go.
Okay, but the thing of that is, though, is that Teen Titans Go, again, is its own thing. It's not really trying to be the serious show that the original was, and
Yeah.
I think that as it tries to go forward and do its own thing as a comedy, I think it's important that we as fans realize that. However, I also feel like that there's a bit of a balance that can be taken. Like, you can take a show that used to be serious and turn it into a comedy, but doing so in a way that finds a sort of balance. Like, back in the day, in like the 2012s, I believe, before Teen Titans Go, and long after the original show, there were these like Teen Titans shorts that were in little chibi form, and they were comedic. They weren't serious. They weren't anything like that, and people really liked those. Like, they came to that and they're like, "Hey, this is pretty funny." And I just think that there's a balance that can be had between serious and comedic themes if you truly want to make it where you want to reboot something differently. You can make it where you can please old fans and new in a way. You just gotta find that balance between what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I was going to mention something to that element as well. Like, if you wanted to just do like, the single, like the isolated episode format that shit like SpongeBob or Chowder has, and apply that to Teen Titans world and characters, then you could do that. It's just Go didn't do it well. Go is taking it and making it appeal to like fucking 4-year-olds or something. Big Red Button. Big Red Button was like, "Oh yeah, we worked at Naughty Dog. We loved Sonic the Hedgehog. I played Sonic 2 at a friend's house, and I liked collecting those coins, and that was it." Like that.
Naughty Dog has been
like
going a bit downhill recently.
that other writer with the very unfortunate last name that's quite phallic. He was like, "Yo, I'm writing for this," and I thought that was cool. And I saw in like the replies, he was like, "Sonic the Hedgehog is like my favorite platforming game ever." And I'm looking at that and I'm like, well, that's really cool. But then on the other hand, I'm like, what if like he's talking about like the very first one, and that's like the only one he played, and he didn't like play anything else. He just kind of liked that first one, and he's one of those people who calls the rings coins.
Already better than Ponta, because they had no Sonic knowledge at all.
I guess that's fair. But I mean, it seems like they might
be a good segue into the writing.
Oh yeah. But I also want to get this one thing out. The problem with the Sonic games right now is that it's like if you had Mario games programmed by people who didn't know shit, like the fact that the coin blocks run on like a timer instead of like a set amount of coins.
Call them rings.
No, I'm talking about Mario.
No, I'm saying you get to Mario, you start calling the coins rings.
Oh, oh God, that would be like that. Like, okay, I can somewhat forgive somebody for calling the Sonic rings like coins, but if you're calling the Mario, like that's, I don't think that person exists. But if you do, fuck you. Sorry.
Just
Yeah,
outright,
segue
like,
into the
plain and simple.
writing, I suppose.
Yes.
Contact and Graph are out. Hell yes.
It seems like it. We don't entirely know, but the way that they're saying things makes it seem like they are. And I think, I would say that's good, because if nothing
Very
else,
good.
it seems like Sega did not care about making sure that they understood the material, because they
Sure didn't.
visibly did not. It's
didn't
weird.
even bother
It
to.
feels as if they weren't allowed, but I mean, like, they had to scrape fan wikis supposedly. Like, that's like, wow, what are you
Like, why are
doing?
you making them
Like,
do
what?
that?
Why?
No,
Why? why are you letting your writer? Why are you just making your writers resort to that? You're just like feeding them little cheese scraps like a mouse.
That would be like
It's
when trying to find writers for freaking SCA. If I went to somebody in the I don't fucking know, like the Zelda fandom who doesn't care about Sonic, be like, hey, you want to write for this Sonic show? And they're like, okay, and they do it, and then they don't know what they're doing, and then instead of giving them the rundown, I'm just like, yeah, you figure it out.
or anything. It's like just that's literally what happened with Sonic. And Pontac and Graf are not bad writers. They're just not good Sonic writers.
Exactly.
So when you and it's clear that they're just again, it's almost as if they're not allowed to just figure this out for themselves or be like guided by the company aside just simple yes no questions. That's how it works with the comics, but thank God they have people who understand the material insanely well.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of them applying that material and then giving yes or no.
Sonic's blue. All right, that's all you get. Have fun. Do it.
Sweet.
Yeah, just like fit these puzzle pieces together. We don't even know that. What? The moon is in half? No, you can't do that. Sorry.
They gave.
It's always got to face the other way.
It's an 1,000-piece puzzle, and they gave them 999 of the pieces.
Yeah.
Just like have
Do you
fun.
think it works better as a shonen kind of story or like a Saturday kind of story? Saturday morning cartoon kind of story, I mean.
The thing with that is, like, I hope I don't know if this answers the question, but, like, when it comes to this whole thing and, like, the structure, I hear 24 episodes. Clearly, hopefully, this isn't about to be, like, the typical thing where it's one-off episodes where, like, the last episode didn't happen, and it's like they just move on to the next one like the other one didn't happen. Like, I hope they don't do something like that. I hope it's an overarching story throughout the entirety, and I hope the episodes like run in for like 20 plus instead of the usual like 12 to 15 on some boom type shit. And it's like
I'm personally very confident that it's going to be an overarching story. If not that, then it will probably be broken into multiple arcs, which I would be fine with.
That's fine.
But the reason I say that is because that's basically what wasn't that what Generator X was?
Yeah.
Like the Generator Rex and Ben 10 sort of had like well Generator Rex I actually don't remember that much, but like Ben 10 had like this sort of way of going about the story where it was like there were like one-off episodes, but there was a sense of continuity because it'll be like, for example, you have the episode where they meet Kevin for the first time, and then when they show up again, it's like, oh, Kevin's still mad about what happened and he's trying to get revenge by like posing and pretending to be like the other aliens of Ben so that people can frame so that he can get framed. And it's like there's that sort of sense of continuity, and it's like you have, even though the episodes are one-off, you have Vilgax watching Ben the entire time, just like, oh, I want the Omnitrix, and then he eventually gets up and decides to get the Omnitrix himself at the end of like the first season. So it's like, yeah, it's like somewhat one-off, but there's a sense of continuity. And that's what I'm afraid of. Like, if they're gonna be one-offs, I want there to be some sort of sense of continuity. Like, oh, this thing from like episode 2 is coming back in like episode 6 or something like that.
Yeah, I think we can be right now with the way that with that Generator Rex comment that Duncan made. I think we can be rest assured that if it is like one-off episodes, that they will follow a continuity. But I think it'll just be kind of like a continuous arc. I'm going to be really sad if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I hope they leave room for season 2.
Yes, please. Don't. Well, it'd be fine if this was one and done, but I'd love to see where this could potentially go for multiple seasons.
If the series is really good. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. Let Sonic Prime be a thing for a few years, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if the series is like really good, absolutely do a season 2. Like you would be stupid not to. If it's just, an alright series, like just a nice like single serve series that's like satisfying in its current form, then you don't have to. But like, just if it ends up being really good, then yeah, more would be great. Again, it's been so long since since we've gotten a serious Sonic show that just
The 2000s.
doesn't try to do that ironic Zoomer type writing. It's just just tell a fucking story. Make a fucking show, please.
Yeah. Sonic
and
has...
honestly, it was weird because I was initially so resistant to the idea of Man of Action handling this, but just with the things about the tone and the structure that I've been hearing, it's just immediately I'm doing a 180 and thinking, hold up, this might actually be all right. But this in a series where thinking like that doesn't end up the best.
The recording curse is screwing with
It
me
is still
right now.
It is still a grab bag, a dice roll.
But I don't know if this really talks about the show itself, but for me personally, I kind of hope we get an actual full on opening theme song instead of just oh hey Sonic Prime and then it's done. I want a full I want a full song.
You mean Sonic Booms?
I'm gonna punch you in the neck.
God.
No,
to everyone with the discussion. What do we think about the voice actors?
Wait, hold on. I think let's come back to that. Let's come back to that. Not yet.
You in a rush. Slow down, man. Snacko. I know you want to go fast, but take a second. Recording curse.
Nah, there are certain things I still want to bring up before we get to the voice actors, but I think in regards to the show itself, two things that were brought up earlier that I want to bring up are, well, for one, the idea of whether or not this will be the length of each episode. I think this will be a 22-minute show because we're getting 24 episodes, and Netflix, for most of their at least original content or their stuff that they've ordered specifically for them, is usually around 22 minutes. Things like She-Ra and Voltron and stuff like that, you got them as 22-minute shows. Plus the fact that this has been picked up for 24 episodes in comparison to 52 or something, it's yeah, chances are probably 22 minutes. But I also wanted to bring up in regards to storytelling and tone and the treatment of the franchise, Man of Action has, two things. First of all, in regards to Duncan's tweets, honestly, as a Ben 10 fan, as someone who, I don't exactly watch the reboot, but I keep tabs on it, if that makes enough sense. I know everything that's going on to a degree. I just don't watch it myself because tone stuff isn't really my thing, and yeah. But
can I quickly interject?
Go ahead.
I found out his last name is pronounced Rulo. Duncan Rulo.
Duncan Rulo.
Okay, I figured that's what it was. Okay, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. But in regards to Duncan's tweets in general, I've seen him interact with the Ben 10 fandom a lot, and he answers all sorts of questions in regards to how that's going. And honestly, he treats the Ben 10 fandom pretty well, and he's been pretty open and honest about things that he can talk about. Things that are obviously spoilers, he's not going to touch, obviously, but he's been pretty chill, he's been pretty open, he's been pretty honest about everything, and so I do trust his statement about the whole, it's more like Generator Rex than Mega Man Fully Charged. I don't particularly see a reason for him to treat the Sonic fandom any differently than that of Ben 10, because, you have the same mix of older fans who are coming from an older series and new young fans who are oh, this is such a cool new thing. And in a lot of ways, Ben 10 and Sonic are similar like that. But that leads me into just, I guess, looking at the general treatment of the Ben 10 reboot. And while, the Ben 10 reboot certainly started off well. It was fun and episodic, and it definitely, honestly, when it comes to the Ben 10 reboot, it's not for me, but like tone wise. But as I said, I've kept tabs on it, and like the way that it treats the lore and kind of the way it treats Ben 10's lore, even if it's for a younger audience, it's very clear that a lot of love and care is actually put into it. Like stuff like how they're handling Vilgax or even Kevin.
Is Vilgax in there?
Yeah, Vilgax is in the reboot, and he's very, very interesting, actually. But it's like Man of Action, even if they're going for something younger, it's like, yeah, Ben 10 is their own thing, and it's true that we have Mega Man fully charged as well, but I don't know, I at least have some form of trust in them trying to do interesting things and trying to flesh things out in a way that at least will be more something we can look at and say, I keep saying the word interesting, but yeah, I don't know, they could be doing interesting things. So, yeah.
Right now my mindset's kind of, if it's good, awesome.
Yeah.
If it's bad, it's just another day.
True.
I won't be
At
surprised.
this point, it's
at
literally
all.
just like there's so much mediocrity in the series that like when
Yeah.
something new is on the horizon and it turns out bad, it's like, well, that
Could have fooled me.
what that already
That-
happened like for the last like 15, 10 like years. So it's like
We will never.
it doesn't
Alright, well-
phase me. It doesn't phase me after Forces, because Forces came out around the time I became an adult. So
Yeah.
it
was still
hit
in high
me.
school.
I was like, it was just kind of when I realized, yeah, this is just kind of gonna be like a drought. This is just gonna be like mediocrity.
Here we are.
We
I
have
need
some
to
news.
just cope with
and
it.
We got plenty of news.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to talk
Yeah.
about Forces. That game, man. What was I gonna say? And then it's like, I also kind of hope, like, this is the Ruby fan in me speaking, but I kind of wish like the show has like a whole like soundtrack, like
Yes.
different like vocal songs come out like throughout
I'd
the
love
course
that.
of the show. Like,
I hope the intros are fucking awesome,
yeah.
because
Yeah.
like with Boom, I specifically
God.
remember one of the things that that disappointed the shit out of me, because I used to really like Boom,
Mhm.
as a series, but the one thing that had always disappointed me, like from the start,
Sonic
the intros literally have zero character,
Just that
and
that
it doesn't
guitar.
tell you anything about the show. It doesn't. It's all this. It's like this weird like Tron ass background on everybody. It's like, what are you What are you doing? Yeah. Yeah, what he said.
Yeah, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, we
Man of
just-
Action, please deliver. Just give us like just awesome intros for Sonic
Yes.
Prime,
I want to
please.
bop.
If you do it seasonally, then like do what like animes do, where every season has a new intro with a new song.
That would be cool.
Please. Honestly,
I don't know
they don't
any
have to. They
Western
can just.
song that's done that.
Sorry?
Western show, I mean.
Me neither, honestly.
On Western,
They don't have
yeah.
to, but
Ah.
it would. I
It's
think
just
it would
animation,
really.
no animation.
I think it would drive in Sonic's roots, considering Sonic is, inspired by anime.
Definitely.
Well,
Take as much Japanese influence as you possibly can. Soak up ungodly amounts of culture when you make this thing.
Mm-hmm.
don't be shy.
Best way to go, honestly.
Fucking watch the original Dragon Ball or even Z.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Or
You know how
even
to make
Kai,
Sonic.
if you
No,
have
that's
to.
not true.
Close enough. Depending on who you
Yeah.
ask.
I think.
Awkward silence.
Recording curse is really fucking me right now.
Nah, this is great.
You figure we should talk about just the general news we've heard about the direction of the series. I want to kind of compile it into like a cohesive little blurb
That's
real
fair.
quick though. So give me a little bit. I'll give you guys the floor after this. I'll try to make it
Go
brief.
ahead.
I summed it up in another chat. Okay. So what I've put together so far is that Sega's been undergoing some restructuring. It's been dissolving teams, allocating the resources differently, creating new teams and stuff like that. Just stuff like that. Aaron Weber got made director of strategy, which gives him a closer link between Sega of America and Sega of Japan, and I'd figure also Sega of Europe. I mean, he literally moved to Japan for this job.
Sounds promising.
That's huge. Looks like the guy behind Yakuza is now Sega's creative director as a whole, which is massive. Yakuza is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And the guy who makes those games is just awesome. I think he also made Monkey Ball.
The newest game is probably like
That
too
did.
deep into development to have any main changes from it, though.
Well, yeah,
That's
I
true.
know, but just him being in that position is great. I'm more talking about Sega in general, but I do get your point.
Yeah, that's fair.
Back to Sonic, though, Flynn's writing an official, comprehensive lore book, which is something that seemingly did not exist before. Like it just, I'm pretty sure Pontac and Graf had to use fan wikis and stuff. The fact that Ian Flynn is writing that lore book is huge.
Yes.
It seems like the movie's success was far more notable to Sega than, say, like the success of Mania was. What I know about how Sega received Mania internally, they had no real idea why it was such a success. So the assumption they just ended up with was that people like pixel graphics. Then with the movie, I don't have an official confirmation on how they felt about it, but it feels like with, Flynn writing that lore book, they might be like, the movie may have made them realize the value of their connections to people like Flynn and Tyson and, really want to utilize them. There's also how many roles are being recasted. Maybe the whole cast. If Mike, it seems like Mike has auditioned for Prime. So if that doesn't go through, it might be the whole cast that gets reshuffled. At least not people who aren't, like Bryce or Kyle Hubert or whatever his name is. The guy who's doing Knuckles now, Zavok and stuff.
Dave
Zavok's voice actor. And we know that Pontac and Graf were likely kicked off.
Thank God.
And then finally, this big slam dunk is that Sonic Prime is using the established world and lore, seems to sport a properly serious tone, which is something we've not had in a Sonic show since like X. So just everything stacks up to me like they're taking a huge directional shift with the series, like a tonal shift in the series, and just really like going back and like being like, what are we doing? We gotta figure this out. We gotta get our shit together. We gotta take the series in a new direction again. Typically, when recasts happen, that's what that means anyway.
Yeah.
Is
that thought
is that there's like a
something that
directional
like
shift.
makes me so happy.
It makes me happy, but at the same time, it's like bittersweet because I like Roger as a person, as a voice actor, and I think his Sonic sounds pretty good in a lot of cases. Like I've disagreed with this sentiment before, but like I think Sonic's portrayal and voice acting in Forces was pretty good. I think Roger did a great job there, and they didn't write him too out of character. It's of all the things that like Sonic Forces gets wrong and messes up, Sonic's writing is surprisingly not one of them. He's surprisingly close to his original form, and I think that's cool.
It's
He's
just
not quite,
everything else.
the monologuing Black Knight. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like just everything else that gets wrong, but Sonic himself is,
world has
mostly
its
fine. But yeah, like, and again, I like voice actors such as Colleen. Obviously, I like Mike. I like Cindy. Rouge's voice actor can go fuck herself for reasons. I don't know why I used the wrong pronoun there. That was weird. But just yeah, it's weird how there's just this. It's bittersweet. Maybe we get a better tone, but like losing our old cast, just that kind of bites. It's a double-edged sword.
A a lot of people are saying that Shadow's voice actor should get replaced.
Kirk Thornton.
I don't mind
I
it.
never really liked Kirk Thornton's Shadow, but he is a pretty good voice actor in general. I think he sounded great in Forces, but
There's
outside of
Warboss,
that, he's just kind of sounds
The thing is,
weird.
Shadow's voice should be naturally deep. Kirk's voice sounds like he's trying to be deep.
Yeah, that's a good point. Although again, I think that in Forces he sounds fine. I was very surprised at that. But, it's whatever. I think there's voices that were not so good, and there are voices that were pretty good, and then there's voices that were great. And it's going to be weird at the very least to have to adapt to new ones. And at worst, it's just heartbreaking. I was really emotional when I found out that Roger was giving up the role. Or, well, maybe not giving up the role. Rather, he was fired. But I got emotional. Because it's
His
just
final
like...
lines is going to hit harder now.
Yeah. He's been doing the role for like 10 years, and they're letting him go. It's sad. He was fantastic in Puyo Puyo Tetris as well, which was like or Puyo Puyo Tetris 2, which is his last voice role.
Very strange Swan Song. Did I just say Swan Song? I meant Swan Song.
Yeah. So tonal shift, cool if they do it right anyway. Voice actors being changed out, it's sad. I also feel bad for Pontac and Graf. They're not, inherently bad writers. They just got dealt a crappy hand, got put into a position that they couldn't really work with, and it's a shame. I can't help but feel like they at least tried, and they were not given much of an opportunity to because of the cold clutches of the long cock of corporate.
I mean, about that, I think if you're gonna accept a job, you should read up yourself, what the job is about and how the characters work. You shouldn't just accept it, not knowing how the characters are.
And it seems like they did try with the fan wikis and stuff that they had to scrape because Sega didn't have an official compendium or something.
No.
So,
it's both Sega's fault and Ponta's fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was asked to be in a position like that, what am I gonna do? Decline? There's so many meaningful connections and just money to be made, work to be done. Just it's hard to turn down jobs when
True, but
if you miss that opportunity, you're not gonna get that opportunity back.
Yeah, true. It's just that for me, it's just
writing for one of the most popular franchises on the planet is a once in a lifetime opportunity to take. I can understand why they would have taken it, regardless of how much they knew. Yeah, I don't know. I get where you're coming from, though. It was ultimately their job to get knowledgeable, but to me, it feels like there was some effort to try in the face of Sega just not helping much.
I mean, for me, it's just they're in that position. It annoys me that there's other people that would be better in that position.
Well, yeah, because they've studied that material their whole lives, like Ian Flynn and Evan Stanley.
Yeah, it's good that
I just can't. I can't help but feel bad for. Oh, sorry.
No, it's good that we'll likely be moving on from them.
Yeah, I think regardless, I'll feel bad about the replacements and stuff, but in the end, if the tone and direction change for the better, then that's fine. Was it worth losing everybody? I don't know if that's my call to say. Well, I guess we'll see. I don't know. Either way, it's very bittersweet. But I do think that the directional shift is, if it ends up for the better, then it'll at least be somewhat worth it, I suppose. I wouldn't be surprised if Aaron was part of the decision-making process for all this because of his new position. Maybe he was calling the shots. It feels a little abrupt to just kind of do this. If so, so it's probably a much bigger decision than that, like just wider scale. But I don't know. And also,
Aaron seems like a relatively good Sonic fan, so it's nice to have him at the higher up.
oh yeah, Aaron is honestly like very knowledgeable about Sonic. He's been a Sonic fan for probably longer than most current Sonic fans have been alive. Everybody like sends him their how to fix Sonic videos, but like he already knows all this shit. He already knows the problem. People have challenged me on that. I won't name any names, but people have challenged me on saying that. But the truth is, it's just objective fact that Aaron Weber knows the problems with the series. It's not like they're invisible to him. They're invisible to the bigwigs, but not to him or Izuka for that matter.
Don't care about money. Because Sonic is going to buy, and Sonic is going to buy. Sonic is going to sell regardless because, again, Forces sucked, but it was financially not sucked. So,
Yeah.
it's just the games are going to sell regardless, and I feel like they're moving into that mindset where it's like, I don't really care because they're going to sell anyway, so why try? And it's like, you're ugly, don't do that. And anyway, but like, basically, my whole take on the voice actor situation is like, it's sad things because Sonic was my favorite Roger voice. Roger was my favorite Sonic voice. Sydney was my favorite Amy. I preferred Kate Higgins to what is her name? Colleen. There you go. Yeah. I preferred Kate Higgins to Colleen, but I still liked Colleen's take. It was a good take, and that's upsetting. It's like, I had a talk with some other people about it, and it's like the whole Dave, Eric, and Erica and Bryce situation is like they were probably just bought on to do TSR, and then they're gonna be wiped out with everybody else when the big voice actor.
Well, they're in the Olympic Games as well.
Oh. Wait, it's Erica in the Olympic Games? Yeah, it is. It is as Blaze. Okay, all right, but like, yeah, basically, it was like they were like, oh, like there's always that possibility that they could be getting wiped too, since they were just there to film in roles for those games specifically, and it's like that's true. But if anything, they're the most safe since they literally just got there with TSR. But I honestly feel like they're going, and the discussion that was inevitably going to happen, and the one that I wanted to have the most was who take the place of these people. And nobody asked, but I'm glad you asked. For Sonic, right? We've been talking about this a lot in chats, but that man Ryuji Sakamoto, Max Middleman should definitely take over as Sonic the Hedgehog and not Ben Schwartz, because Ben Schwartz is great for movie Sonic, but I just cannot feel him as game Sonic. It's just something about it. It's probably the voice, the design.
I think he's going to need to take a different approach if it is him, to really fit with, the Sonic that we know outside of the movie. I think he could do it. It's just, there's not a good example of it just yet, I feel.
I do prefer Max Middleman, but if Ben Schwartz is chosen, I won't lose any sleep.
I wouldn't be upset with either. I think Max Middleman could really nail it. Although I might be biased because I'm also named Max.
I'm biased because I'm a Persona fan, but we're not going to talk about that. If we're going to talk, it's basically too, like, another thing that I was talking about was, like, if the whole cast is getting swept about, like, who I could see in the roles. And someone brought to my attention the idea of Christina V voicing Amy because of her role as Shantae, and I'm like, I could see that. And then there was a talk about, like, for me personally, I saw, and then for my thing, like, personally, I could see if the tone was done differently and he worked on, like, the direction and the delivery, I could see Johnny Young Botch as Shadow if he just does it a little differently. Who else? I could see Yuri Lowenthal as Silver, because I feel like I get less like from the thing that I saw on Twitter that had Yuri's voice on a picture of Silver. I get less Spider-Man and Ben and Mercury and Sasuke from
Mhm.
Silver being Yuri than I would if Sonic was Yuri, because I feel like if Yuri wanted to voice Sonic, that's where he'd get a little too close to Ben and Spider-Man specifically, and
Yeah.
it's like Silver doesn't really have a voice like that, so I'm pretty sure he could pull it off without sounding too close to anything he's already done. And then talking about like other characters like Cream, this is the persona bias in me coming out again, but Xanthi Hyun, I think that's how you pronounce her last name, who voices Haru in Persona 5, I could see that. I could see that happening if they were to go that route. It's probably not gonna happen, though the most likely thing on this list is none of them. But if we had to choose someone who is most likely, it's Max. But it's like I get like if I were choosing and who I'd want to see, it'd be these people. Knuckles, I don't really know because my favorite Knuckles voice was Travis, and it's like I don't really know who else could really pull it off because I don't really like the current one all that much, like at all, to be honest with you, because he sounds like a meathead, and it's like I'm getting sick of meathead Knuckles.
Yeah, I get
Speaking
you.
of Knuckles, Dwayne Johnson.
I get her
This
Dwayne.
is a movie.
I think Dwayne Johnson would do a really good job at it, but he's also probably pretty expensive to get. My
Medium-ly.
personal dream voice for Knuckles is like whoever does Raphael for Rise of TMNT.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
I think coming back to Ben Schwartz, I was talking about this on Twitter like a couple days ago, actually. But the thing about okay, I'm I'm pretty opposed to Ben Schwartz being Game Sonic. Granted, if he could go with a different direction, that would be great. But in general, I just feel like both a combination of animated characters kind of are their voices, like character for cartoon characters, it's like they're very connected. Who they are is very connected to their voices. Like if you heard Peter Griffin's voice come out of fucking SpongeBob, then it would be really really weird. And I feel like with the combination of Sonic as a franchise being this whole thing where they've kind of, whether intentionally or unintentionally, they've kind of made it where each version of Sonic are very much separate characters. Like they're not, as much as we'd like to feel that way, they're not. It's not like, as much as we talk about Sonic just being Sonic, it's like, nah, Boom Sonic is Boom Sonic, Modern Sonic is Modern Sonic, Movie Sonic is Movie Sonic. It's like how people feel that if we couldn't imagine anyone other than Roger doing Boom Sonic, and I feel like with the way that Movie Sonic is being a much younger and hyperactive interpretation of the character, it would feel weird coming out of modern Sonic, even if they decide to change him. It's just like, nah. But of course, if he were to change his direction, then yeah. But like Movie Sonic as he stands, like that specific voice that Ben does for Movie Sonic, I couldn't. I couldn't. Or at the very least, it would take some getting used to. And yeah.
But the thing is, it's like, but the whole Ben thing again, it's I don't. It's probably something with the design or the voice, or there's something about it that I just don't rock with him being modern
Mm-hmm.
Sonic, and that doesn't mean change modern Sonic's design so that it can fit Ben Schwartz. That's not what that means. It
Yeah.
means just don't
Yeah.
do it. Or
Exactly.
if you do it, get the better direction so that it makes more sense. And
Mm-hmm.
it's
Yeah,
just
the thing
like,
about voice actors is that they're incredibly versatile. If they're,
Yeah.
especially if they're like professional, it's like, have you heard all the voices that Mike Pollock can do? It's
That's
incredible.
true. That's true.
I
He voiced so many different
like.
characters in Sonic X alone. So
Yeah, it's like, yeah, voice actors are just versatile. Like they can pretty much do whatever the hell the director wants,
not true.
and it, you know, the responsibility does fall on the director a bit in that regard. Though sometimes they just let actors do their thing and do whatever they think fits the character. And typically, this is the process that Mike Pollock describes. Is you just do a line reading, and then if they need a retake, they ask you for a retake, and then you keep retaking. You just kind of keep repeating that cycle for a few times until the director's like, "That's the one. Let's move on to the next."
I think that, I guess part of that is, I do. Part of my problem, I guess, with Ben is that, I do hold on to his interpretation of, oh, he just sounds like movie Sonic, and so that's a big part of it as well. And I guess given the right direction, he definitely could do it.
Yeah, he's again, like, voice actors are very versatile. I have no doubts that he could. What he needs is like the confidence down, because in a lot of his roles he doesn't typically have that confidence unless it manifests itself in like a childlike manner. But the thing about Game Sonic, that's fine for movie Sonic, but the thing about Game Sonic is that he's not childish. He's not confident in a childlike manner. He's confident in a more collected, like, straightforward, almost more like a late teen, which is weird to say because he's canonically 15, but he's a lot more maturely determined, I would say. I have no doubt that Ben could do that. It's just we haven't heard it yet.
That's true.
Max Middleman, we've heard it all over the place from him because that's usually the role he's given. Although Max Middleman also did Filbo in Bugsnax, and listen to that character. That sounds like that kind of like awkward, childish kind of character that you'd hear out of a typical Ben Schwartz character. But that just feeds into my point of like voice actors are versatile. Even, basically perfect Sonic cast Max Middleman can sound awkward as shit under the right direction.
That's definitely true.
The whole industry just revolves around being versatile. There are some actors that get hired because they can do one voice and are really good at it, but just for something like Sonic with so many different variations of the same character, I have faith that if they're getting Ben, then we're going to see him do a take that fits that version of the character better. I mean, even like Boom Sonic sounded different from regular Game Sonic to an extent.
That's
so
true.
it's definitely they're definitely keeping track of that.
I think, I'm glad to hear it from you as well, from like someone who does a lot of voice work, because I guess a lot of us don't think about how much goes into the work of it all, the industry. We just kind of hear one voice and like, oh yeah, that's the one he does, and so
yeah,
I really appreciate that.
I feel like the other issue with me with Ben Schwartz is the fact that most of his voices sound the same. Like the DuckTale character that he voices, Leonardo and Sonic, all kind of sound the same to me, and there isn't really that much of a difference.
That's what they hire him for.
Yeah,
I would say that his DuckTales, I forget which brother it is. But
is it Howie?
Dewey. No.
Huey?
I think it's Dewey. I think.
Dewey. Whatever, the blue one.
Yeah.
His role in DuckTales, I would say it sounds a lot more childish than what you hear out of his Sonic and of course his Leo.
True.
It's higher, it's got that really high, it's what I was talking about. It's got that really high childish manifestation of confidence with it and just kind of cockiness to it.
No.
He acts like a child. It sounds like a child.
But the more that I think about it, the more Ben would fit if he's put in the like right circumstance. Like I think Ben would fit pretty well in Lost World.
Yeah,
he'd probably be fine in Lost World.
Yeah, but not in Forces.
They're gonna turn Tails into a robot.
And in Forces, I can't hear him doing that.
Yeah, see, so it's a matter of the setting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if the
It's
next
also,
game
again,
is
a matter of the
goofy,
direction.
Yeah.
Because if he takes a more, mature approach to it, then he could do fine.
Mhm.
It's just that typical roles hire him, or typical roles require him to do that sort of childish sound. It's kind of, again, it's part of the reason he gets hired for a lot of those roles.
yeah,
None of this really matters because it's all dependent on what it's going to end up like when we eventually hear it, and that's even assuming it is. I mean, I'm confident that it's Ben, because it would be weird if they just, because they have like Ben Schwartz like right there, and he's voiced Sonic in a full movie. So if you're replacing Roger, then like that's like the first place to look usually.
Mhm.
But I mean, it could not be Ben. It could be anybody, honestly.
Yeah.
And
people complain that they
it
can't
also
see.
makes me wonder if they're going to go for somebody who has like that kind of deepish voice like Roger did, or if they're going to go with somebody who sounded more like, say, Jason or Ryan. That's also another factor. They could throw a total curveball and just get somebody who sounds, kind of deep, almost like what Roger was doing, but different.
John
People
DiMaggio.
complain that they can't see Ben in that position, but before Roger was hired, I couldn't see Roger in that position.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's
then he
true.
delivered, a pretty solid Sonic.
Mhm.
He's just kind of, he's become one of the voices that you see people impersonate. For a while, it was, people who sounded a lot like Ryan and Jason. Just sort of like that, oh yeah, I'm surfing. But like now you start to see a little more, Roger sound-alikes and people who are like, all right, bring it on. And it's a lot deeper. I can't do Roger to save my life. I'm sorry. I mean, no disrespect
It's
to
all
like
good.
Roger or people who impersonate him. I just am not good at it myself, which is why I sounded like shit right there. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, so he, if nothing, he's certainly iconic. He's cemented. He portrays the character fairly well when he's given good material, like in Forces. So
He's put his mark, basically. on
yeah,
the franchise.
exactly. He's just become a voice that you hear when you look at Sonic, because it works in numerous scenarios. So, but before that, like it was like weird. You couldn't like the guy who does Batman and Ezio could never do Sonic the Hedgehog, and then he did for 10 years. It's all a matter of perspective.
Yeah. As long as they have good range, they could probably voice Sonic.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's honestly not a hard voice to do if you're referencing like old material.
Given the
Like
time.
if you know what Sonic sounds like, there is a 50% or maybe even 70% chance that you can impersonate his voice. Like half decently. So it's, not like a, it's big shoes to fill when you're doing it professionally, but like really it's not too hard to get it down. I hope whoever takes the carries the torch will do it justice. Whoever that may be.
The old cast will, both Roger and the rest of the cast, hopefully not Mike Pollock, please stay, but they'll definitely be missed. It's going to be very, I guess, difficult moving forward, getting used to potentially an entirely new cast and all of that. But
I don't think Colleen comes very close. My girlfriend comes very close as well, but I don't think anybody can do a better Tails than Kate Higgins. Colleen sounds very similar. I see why they because Colleen was already doing like charming shit, so I'm pretty sure they
I confused it too.
replaced Kate with Colleen to cut costs, but I could be wrong. But that seems like what it was probably intended to do.
Mm-hmm.
But they sound pretty close anyway, so it's fine. I just think Kate is like my favorite Tails. Sarah second, Colleen third. Colleen's not a bad Tails. I just like I have a soft spot for Sarah's. She does a surprisingly good job considering she did not considering like she was initially pretty. She wasn't bad at the role, but it really hurt her throat, and it took her a bit to like really get used to it.
Definitely see what you mean.
Yeah.
Hashtag bring back the Adventure Tales voice actor.
What?
There's a reason they don't get young boys to do young boys, and
I wonder what happened to Sonic.
I wonder what happened to Sonic.
Good thing you're okay.
What happens when you get like actual like young people in roles like that? Like if you're like filming like a movie, typically your director and direction is going to be like pretty like very, very high level. So you can typically get good acting out of like actual children if you're like with a professional crew. But with something like video games, especially like the casting for Sonic the Hedgehog, like your directors are more familiar with just, I would imagine they're more familiar with just like people voicing, not doing a whole lot of work aside from saying yes or no to certain takes and having retakes done. So, trying to get a child to do a take that you like is not going to be trivial. Hell, they left in takes in Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 that kind of sucked ass from the children who voiced Tails in those games. And it's not their fault. It's not the director's fault. Like, what do you do?
Exactly.
I've seen fucking idiots on the Adrenal Dubs videos being like, I don't like how Tails just sounds like a girl. I think little boys should play little boys. It's like, have you tried fucking doing that?
Have you seen Nolan
What's
Foltz's?
crazy though is that the last time we had actual boys voice Tails, all 3 times were bad. So
Yeah, true.
SAE2's was actually not that bad. Heroes was definitely the worst of the 3.
That's funny. I was about to say Heroes. If he had experience, he would have been the best.
Yeah.
But yeah, have you seen Nolan Foltz's dubs of the Mega Drive comics?
Huh?
Have you seen Nolan Foltz's dubs of the Mega Drive comics?
I have not.
I have not.
The Tails voice there is really good.
Oh, nice.
And he's actually a kid.
Oh.
Well,
he was back then.
I'll have to check that out. Yeah, that's another problem. Like when you're doing long running shit, you have to keep replacing, and it's just like, why would you go through all that trouble when you could literally just get like a girl who can sound like a little boy? It's so much easier.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it. It's kind of new out there. I don't know if you ever heard of Sonic Chaos Adventure. That Tails is pretty cool.
Sounds like shit.
Tails is solid.
I've never heard of SCA ever.
Anima, this is why you're fired.
SCA's Tails sounds fine. Sounds like Tails. It doesn't really sound like 14-year-old Tails or whatever, but it sounds like Tails.
I would hope it sounded like Tails. But basically it's like, because again, I don't do voice work my damn self. Even if life depended on it, I'd die because I can't do it. But like, it's just when you get used to hearing the like specific people be a specific set of characters for a certain amount of time, and then it's like, no more. And the thing that I hate that Sega continuously does is they wait until these voice actors get really good before they decide to give them the boot. Like, why don't, like, if you're gonna do that earlier. Don't wait until they all start getting really good to do it. Like, it doesn't, like, it's just like because you basically give them no time to shine now that they've gotten really good, because you just want to throw them away and get new people in because they did
I'm
it.
sure they
Ryan
don't do it intentionally.
But like this is the third time that it's happened in a row, so it's kind of looking less and less like a coincidence because it's like Ryan gets really good in Heroes. The very next game, it's now Jason. Jason gets really good in Black Knight.
Well-
The very next game is Roger. Roger gets really good in Puyo Puyo Tetris 2. And the next game is not going to be him.
Every time it coincides with some sort of tonal shift. With Jason and the gang, like the 4Kids thing, it was literally just because like so much of the existing cast did not live in New York, and they were casting with 4Kids who had their own, contacts and people within New York. I think that was kind of shitty, especially on behalf of Ryan, because he wasn't even given a chance to re-audition, like move to New York and re-audition. It's like what the fuck? The world of voice acting is pretty rough, and for reasons that aren't typically just because they want to kick people out. It's hard. It's hard to manage that sort of shit especially when like people are, well, back then, if like you're not in the place that they're doing recordings, like you don't live there, you're like 9 times out of 10 you're fucked, because you're either you have to relocate, and if you're just taking a trip there, then like you're not going to be able to like last that long on that role. So sometimes they're not going to bother. But like then there's stuff like with Ryan where they don't even let you move, or they don't even like, you can't like negotiate that sort of thing, and it's tough. Sucks. I don't know why they didn't let him move. Maybe they just really had to get a move on with the series or something. I don't know. Either way, that was the reason for the 4Kids recast. It was just because, that was a big old recast that coincided with the anime. And then with the Roger thing, I don't really know why they did a full recast in that time, but it did coincide with a tonal shift. This time, it seems to be coinciding with a tonal shift as well. So again, I don't think it's.
Let's hope so.
I think it's largely a coincidence, as far as like VAs getting good before they drop them off. I'm certain that's not the reason why. They don't just suddenly like decide, oh wow, you sound really good, bye. Like that would just be kind of silly.
Half the reason is because like it's probably the fandom they're just getting used to the new voice at that time, and then they get the boot.
Yeah,
it could be that.
Although I'd personally been used to Roger for a very long time, and I'm sure that many people can say the same.
Yeah.
He stopped being jarring. I would say that his improvement kind of stopped after Forces. It kind of stopped, I would say, because he sounds really good in just about like everything that was like Forces and after. Like you listen to his material from like between Forces and between Puyo Puyo Tetris 2, he's really not that different.
Yeah.
But the point is, he does sound great. I don't know. Whatever reason they do full recasts and tonal shifts is beyond me. I know if there is another tonal shift on the horizon, then I know the reasons for it, but we'll have to see.
Time will tell.
Yeah.
As we move forward, we're just making this large, massive shift for the franchise, and it's going to be interesting because it's like after Forces, this franchise was so up in the air because with Sega and how they perceive things with Sonic, like how they perceive failures, how they perceive failures, you can get pretty much anything. And Forces is weird, because it's both it tries to do so many different things, and like yes, it was both a financial success, but critically it got panned, and it's just like with the multiple things going on with that game, the tone being kind of all over the place, the way the gameplay being like, oh, the boost is back, but people are talking badly about that. It's like, how exactly was Sega gonna take all of that. And right now, it seems that we're finally at least starting to get some answers onto, okay, this is the direction the franchise is going in, because TSR, while good, it is a spinoff. We do at least have a little bit going on with the comics, but again, it's not really the main brand. Even Archie still kind of did its own thing, so the same can somewhat be argued for IDW, even though they are putting more of a hold on it. It's weird, but I'm glad to at least have at least a little bit of insight onto where Sonic's going, even if it has to be, again, without the old voice cast. But
Man, at this point, I just want to like find out what they're doing over there.
South by Southwest, maybe? Or
I
Most
think we're
likely.
definitely going to get some news at South by Southwest. That's in like March. That's super close.
yeah.
Yeah, a month
It
and a
would be
half.
it would, like they can't miss it. It would be very stupid for them to miss it.
Yeah.
It would have
especially
been
during
over
the
a year since
30th
we would have
anniversary
been
year.
promised news.
And
I
Like,
really
if
don't
they-
like this idea that's being. Okay.
If they fuck up this year, that's like, man, that's gonna be a huge blow.
yeah.
It's such a gigantic blow because this is the 30th anniversary year. Like, okay, I'm fine with waiting. It's just now that the 30th anniversary is on the horizon, it's like, what is there to wait for now? Like, what should I still be waiting for when this is like the year that you're hyping up as the big celebration, the year of Sonic, the 30th anniversary. It's like, again, if you mess this up, big blow. A lot of people are going to lose faith in the series, including me.
I mean, this is like the bajillionth year of Sonic.
The thing that I also don't like the idea of is the fact that there are some people who are like, "Oh, the game's gonna come out in 2022." Don't do that. Because
That's
won't.
a
it's just
possibility.
2020. It's a 2021 release. Like that unless they delay it for some fucking reason. But still, I mean,
oh man, can't wait for the reveal of the next game, and it's a
I don't-
cinematic trailer with no gameplay.
I just hope it's not like
I will commit murder.
I don't mind if it's like if it comes out during an anniversary year. I just hope it's not like a full anniversary game because like I'm tired of we've had like 3 of those.
Yeah.
3, 4. Actually, 06 was not technically an anniversary game. It came out in an anniversary year, I suppose, but it's very much not an anniversary game.
And hey, that was very much the game for Sonic's 15th anniversary.
I'd rather play that GBA
Better-
game that was complete shit.
Better than
I'm sorry,
better than his
but
25th anniversary.
as resident Riders stan, I'll have to say that Riders Supremacy. Riders is the 15th anniversary game. Please and thank you.
Anyway, as a defender of Sonic Rivals, I'm gonna say that Sonic Rivals is the true anniversary game. You're welcome.
Okay, but you'd be wrong. So
I'm not, but you know, it's alright. Yeah,
Cool.
Well, it's okay
The
to
Sonic
be wrong.
game that I can play on the thing that I only bought so that I could mod it to play like Quake 3 Arena. Awesome.
Hey,
Exactly. You're getting it anyway. Yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog. All right.
we got on quite the tangent with voice acting. We're supposed to be talking
Leaks.
about. No, wait,
Leaks.
wait. Not yet. I
What are
think
you talking about? What do you mean?
nah. I think we hold on. I need to sit down.
What
My
comes-
mic isn't. I
Wait,
think
what happened? Oh, I'm just
we haven't really
confused. I'm all
talked.
over it.
Yeah, no, we haven't really talked on the main plot of Sonic Prime. Coming
You're
back to
saying there's a
that-
multiverse?
Green Hill's looking a
God
lot
damn.
more like Pink Hill right now.
No.
It's just I don't want this to be into the Sonic verse. I don't want this to be a thing where it's like, oh, we're gonna look at Sonic from a dimension where he's a war-torn, edgy hero and all his friends are dead,
Ah.
and then we're gonna look at Sonic from another dimension where he's a goofball and he's supposed to be a hero, but he's not. Like I don't want to see things like that. I'd rather them go to different dimensions and meet new characters and see new areas that they've never been to.
Oh, stuff like
instead of
Soul? That'd be
instead
cool.
of just seeing Sonic again, but he is a cop, or Sonic,
I know, right?
He's the villain,
Like-
or Sonic, but he's edgy. Like
Archie was so stupid with that. You have like different iterations of Sonic, as well as like different iterations of Sonic you can create, akin to like, you know, stuff like the Soul Dimension and Blaze. You have so many opportunities for that, and instead what they decided to do was, oh yeah, it's Sonic, but like he's buff. Sonic, but he's a cowboy. Sonic, but he's like a zone cop or something. Sonic, but he's like fucking this, that. It's
The
like
only
just
good version of that is
no
Scourge.
creativity.
Yeah.
Scourge
Scourge
is
is
all
cool.
right.
I feel like how they did. I feel
It's
like
just
what
it's
they
so
did with
uncreative.
Blaze- What they did with
That's
Blaze was
true.
perfect, because Blaze is the perfect
Exactly,
example of an alternate. Blaze is the perfect example of an alternate dimension Sonic. Sonic is all outgoing and like cocky and all extra, and Blaze is more quiet and reserved.
Hmm.
I don't know if you count wind and fire as opposites, but Sonic has wind, she has fire. Like they have similar design patterns on their shoes. They both run fast. It's like they both collect
Blaze
their own
and
versions of the Chaos Emeralds. Because Sonic has the Chaos Emerald, she has the Soul Emerald. They both have their own version of Eggman. Sonic has Eggman. Blaze has Eggman Nega. Something like that is
How are they friends
a little
again?
bit.
Yes.
Huh?
How are they friends again? They're opposites.
You see, Anima, when
Opposites
you actually
attract.
get friends, you'll understand that
Jesus.
what you said is true. What you said is true.
Anyway.
Opposites attract. But like, basically, it's like I want to see more things like that. Like, oh, let's get a brand new character who's like a version of Sonic that's a little more. Edgy's like not the word that I want to use, but edgy is like the best way to describe it. Like, let's get a version of Sonic from another dimension where it's like a completely different character, but he's basically that dimension's Sonic, and he's like,
Hmm.
I
oh,
want to see Super Mario.
Yeah.
I want to see Sonic meet Ben 10 because
No,
they're
no.
made by the same person now.
I want to
They're
see
made by
Sonic
the
meet.
same person now.
Like just chop him up
I
and
wouldn't be surprised.
serve him at the butcher's shop.
I want Sonic to go to a dimension where they have an underground Chow Fight Club.
Oh my god.
Oh my
Read the
God.
comics.
Oh, I don't wanna
First rule of Fight Club: we don't talk about Fight Club.
Fight Club. I mean, it's just like things like that instead of like what we said before. Instead of hey, here's Sonic, but now he's just a bum and he lives in a shack in the middle of nowhere. Like
I
don't
can't
want to
believe
see
people
that.
will like defend that shit.
like no. And the thing is though, because it's like with Spider-Man, it works because it's like it's different.
Well, everything
picking
in
up the
Spider-Man's
mantle.
based on an existing continuity of Spider-Man.
Because it's exactly, and it's like my
So-
thing is though, doing a Spider-Verse with Spider-Man works because there's different people who had the mantle of Spider-Man at some point. There's Ben Reilly, there's Miguel O'Hara, Miles Morales, Gwen Stacy, Petra Parker,
Even
Penny
Mary
Parker,
Jane.
and the Penny Parker, Mary Jane, freaking. It's like the mantle of Spider-Man goes to different people, so something like that makes sense. And it's like
Right.
when you see alternate dimension versions of Spider-Man, they're not just alternate dimension versions of Peter. They're different people who take the Spider-Man moniker and do their own thing with it. And it's like
Yeah, and
when it comes
they
to
do
Sonic,
have their own like washed up Peter, but like still, it's like that's based on another incarnation. And Street is
Yeah.
another incarnation. It's not just Peter, but a bum. It's like, you know, there's a whole like story to that and how he ended up that way. I think I want to touch on this. Sorry to have cut you off, but I wanted to touch on this in particular. There's a little cool detail that I liked about Spider-Verse. It's not really relevant too much, but one thing I really liked was it has so much like weight. How the guy who voices like the Peter Parker and Miles dimension, he's just like
different.
he's just like the Peter Parker in that dimension, and then he's never in the movie again after that character dies.
Oh.
Meanwhile, when you get to Peter B, it's a different actor. It's just it has that feeling that like that Peter that was in Miles' dimension is not replaceable. Peter B is not. He's a different Peter. He's not a replacement.
Mhm.
I mean,
And we carry
Spider-Verse
on
is literally the best animated movie ever made. So what do you expect?
No, it's not. But all right.
It is, but okay, whatever.
No,
It's
not,
debatable, but I agree that it
It's one
is
of my-
like it's definitely very high up there
Yes.
yeah,
Definitely one of my
'Cause we
because
all
of
favorites
know.
as well.
every
we
every
all
little
know.
touch it does, all the respect to the material and the roots of Spider-Man, and just the way it's
Yes.
animated as well is just God.
Because we all know
Chef's
that the
kiss.
best because we all know that the best animated film in history is Ratatouille. Anyway,
Literally, shut up.
basically,
I mean,
it's just
Ratatouille
like
is pretty good.
exactly, but like, it's like I kind of got my whole point out with what I was trying to say with that. It's just like I'd rather it be going to different dimensions and meeting new characters instead of going to different dimensions and seeing Sonic again. And it's
Yeah.
like then there's that whole idea about the whole Segaverse thing, and it's like, man, does that mean Sonic gets to meet Joker from Persona 5? Does that mean Sonic gets to do dealings with
What
the
if
Yakuza?
Sonic met the Joker?
Please
There
stop.
it is.
Please
I
stop.
want Sonic to meet Rystar. And
I
Knight.
want
That'd be neat.
I want Sonic to meet Alex Kidd and Billy
That'd be
Hatcher.
funny.
Why would you want
I want-
Sonic to meet Joker when he could meet Chad Narukami? Thank you very much.
No, because Joker's better. Anyway,
Dark.
and then it's just like, yeah, because I want Sonic to meet Hatsune Miku. Anyway,
I'll meet her all right.
Oh
I want Sonic to meet Captain America.
Alright, listen. You know what? Let's just have a meeting of every character that Roger has ever voiced. Let's have Sonic meet Captain America. Let's have Sonic meet Batman. Have him meet
Ezio.
Ezio, Chris Redfield. Let's have him meet them all.
Diamond Head, Ben 10. We're back.
Diamond Head. See, it comes full
Yep.
circle. Comes full circle.
Wow.
But yeah, that's just how it be.
Yes.
The big thing. I also hope that Prime and the games aren't connected, as in like the game is tied in to the show. I would much rather Prime be its own thing, like how X was its own thing at the same time of the games that were going on at the time. But it's like I don't understand why everything has to be a tie-in nowadays. Just let shit rock. Like not everything has to just be like that. Like
I mean, the Boom games were a prequel to the TV show.
That's
it's a weird
debatable, honestly. at
prequel
this
because
point.
Fumbling
nobody ever
prequel.
brings up Lyric. And nobody ever brings up Lyric at any
Yeah,
point
exactly.
ever.
I was
Like,
waiting for Lyric
no one ever
to
brings
come
up the
back in
ancients.
Sonic Boom. I was waiting.
no one ever brings up the ancients or Bot and Cubot aren't even in the
Boom.
game.
Boom was just so fumbling in just about every sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Genuinely amazing.
Does anybody else have anything they have to say about the plot of Sonic Optimus Amazon Prime?
I won't know until I see what it is. Like
Deliver my
we don't.
packages?
We just have kind of a basic synopsis that it has to do with multiverses. It's about self discovery
Discovery.
and redemption.
Redemption.
What Sonic like figure out that he has feelings for men or something?
This is
Can't
gonna
about time.
believe Sonic killed all those people.
This is gonna start off.
This
is gonna
this
start
fella
off
just
and
sounded like a phone getting a notification.
this is gonna start. It's the show's gonna start off, and it's gonna be similar to Ragnarok. Sonic's gonna be tied up in a
Oh
cage,
my
and
god.
it's gonna be like. And now I know what you're thinking. Oh, Sonic's
Oh
in a
my
cage.
God,
How
shut
did this
up.
happen?
God.
And then he's gonna start monologuing to himself, and then he's gonna talk. He's gonna try to talk to the main villain, and then he's gonna start spinning. He's like, "Give me a second. Wait, hold on. Let me get back and face you again. All right, there you go." And then he's gonna keep talking again, and it's like he's gonna do that whole segment, and then he's gonna start fighting him with Led Zeppelin playing in the background.
God.
But like, yeah, like Landy said, you can't really at this point we can't really say anything else more about it until we actually see like a trailer. And I'd rather see a trailer for the first look at the show instead of Sonic's gonna run on a background and then the logo is gonna animate when Sonic runs.
Yeah.
past
We're probably gonna get
Okay. I feel like they didn't want to release a trailer like that, so that's what the logo reveal was substituting. I think it's going to be the logo reveal, and then the next thing is going to be about it's going to be like an actual trailer for the series.
Why do I have a
I'm-
feeling
In
that the
that
designs
case-
are going to be altered? Because like people keep saying, "Oh, it's going to be modern Sonic." All right, yeah, but who knows how altered modern Sonic is going to look? What if
We
we have
don't-
sports tape again?
We don't even know if it's going to be modern Sonic. We just know that that's like the
Actually-
30th anniversary graphic. I mean, I'm
just really
confident that
cool.
it's going to be modern Sonic. I don't know how many. I don't think they're going to alter it much. I mean,
Mega Man.
my definition of like tasteful altering is the core model. We changed very little on it from the original, but it is, generally better design wise, I would say. So, if
If I
they
do
do
say so
something kind of like
myself.
what we did, then, well, I mean, I wasn't the one who made the model. It was Gygas.
If they're gonna
But,
say anything about if they're gonna change the design, I think they should hit up your boy Gigavolts on Twitter because he made the designs for Sonic. Let me stop anyway. It's
In a perfect world, Sonic Chaos Adventure is
I'm
picked
gonna,
up by Sega.
please stop.
Uh.
Anyway, don't do that. Don't give me hope.
They-
Anyway,
They
I
would
say
not
anyway a
let us
lot.
do
I don't
some
care.
things and
Anyway,
say that.
watch they're probably gonna do something really minor and unnecessary, like giving him like little extra spikes on top of the ones he already has, or doing something unnecessary like sports tape or fingerless gloves or things that he does not need.
Please,
and you can just
please don't
plot
do
modern
fingerless
Sonic in there.
gloves.
I
and
feel like they know at this point not to fuck with the design too much at all merely because of the outrage, but also because they're using the established world. I genuinely think that it's just going to basically be just modern Sonic, maybe with
I
some
hope so.
slight tweaks to like slight tweaks to certain aspects, but I don't think it's going to really deviate much.
Modern
called
Sonic
Sonic
with a higher
Prime.
body count.
So I
It's-
think we are going to. I think we're going to be following the Prime Sonic the Hedgehog, like the Sonic the Hedgehog that appears in like the game's proper.
Would you say that it's
Although-
called Sonic Prime because this is supposed to be Sonic
So,
in his
shut up.
prime?
So-
I guess
You know what?
technically, yeah.
You know what? You know what? I
Kick
guess-
Sword from the core.
No.
Not my call to
Oh,
make.
you're so lucky this is Waze's channel because I was about to hit you with the oh boy. Anyway,
You know what? It's mine.
yeah, this is my channel. I would, 'cause this is my channel. I wouldn't give a care. But basically, yeah, like at the end of the day, when it comes to the whole plot thing, like Landy said earlier, you can't really make any verdicts until we get a trailer. Hopefully, it'll be an actual show trailer that shows footage from the show. And hopefully they do what they did with Boom, because when they did, because I feel like, because I'm pretty sure I could be wrong, but when they first revealed the Boom TV show, they also revealed that clip from the first episode
They did.
with it. So yeah, like I hope they do something like that where they give us the full trailer and then they give us a clip from the first episode so we can get a really good look at what this is going to be like, so that everybody can make their more validated judgment because they actually know what the show looks like. And like the whole thing about it being 3D animated, I know I know it really doesn't have anything to do with the plot, but like I want to bring it up again. The whole show being 3D animated still kind of bugs me, and it's like all right. I'm not gonna say it bugs me, but it worries me because there's always that chance that it's gonna look like poop. And
I mean,
Well-
I'm pretty sure the appearance will have like a higher budget than the games.
Yeah.
Imagine.
The
what's
thing
funny.
is, the thing is, it's Netflix. Netflix, when it's not fucking Big Mouth, the animation is generally like the budget's like through the roof. There, you got Castlevania. Agretzko's
Castlevania.
animation is pretty good. You got
Fast and Furious, that Fast and Furious animated show.
Boss Baby back in business. Yeah, that.
I mean, even that
That's
CG,
fair.
yeah, is an outright terrible.
Mhm.
They they probably didn't allocate too much of a budget to that.
the perfect.
But for Sonic the fucking
Bro,
Hedgehog,
imagine an entire Sonic show. That's
That would
animated
be-
like how
Prime
Sonic
might
was
be
right now.
close.
True.
I mean,
hope
that'd be
they
perfect.
fix
Yeah, that'd be perfectly fine.
I hope
That would
they
be
fix
attractive
the
in
dog,
very
I'm so-
inappropriate ways.
Anyway, I hope they, fix I hope they fix the proportions on Sonic because I'm really tired of the short clothes. Again, to this day, in my opinion, the
Yeah.
best Sonic model is the one that's used from Unleashed Generations with the
Mhm.
more right looking proportions instead of trying to shrink them down to be pseudo classic Sonic. I really hate that a lot. The
Mhm.
Yeah,
only
I don't.
game that it really worked. The only game that it worked in was Runners, and that's because it's a mobile game. So them
I mean,
shrinking
they
down the
generally
model.
just they shrunk down the model proportionally. In like
Yeah,
Forces and Lost World, they didn't really
it
account
was
for. Well,
weird.
Lost World it wasn't offensive, but in Forces,
In
like
Forces,
they
they went
didn't
even more.
really
They went
account
even more,
for. Yeah,
and
Mhm.
it's like you didn't have to do that, but you did. And it's like,
I also
you know,
hope in the
huh?
games that Sonic is more expressive.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Word? Oh my
especially.
god! Because it's anime, a fake? How? Fucking face and just looking however it looked.
Whoa.
I hope there's
But
more. No, I. Okay, so we're gonna. Does anybody else have anything to say about the plot for Rift? Because then we could segue. Because
No.
I
him talking
actually,
about.
I
Wait,
actually
huh?
do. I actually do.
Okay.
But no. I guess something I wanted to touch on in regards to the plot of in in regards to the plot of Sonic Prime is the whole idea of what's it, self-discovery and redemption. I think there's a lot of different ways we can go that they could go on that, and I don't know. I think that could potentially, because that could mean, like, if we're getting a soft reboot of the franchise, then potentially this idea of self-discovery could be a lot like the movie, in where Sonic doesn't quite have an understanding of who he is, and in this show he's starting to figure that out, and or or the idea, like, he's young, like, he hasn't really it if it's a soft reboot where he hasn't really been doing stuff for a long time, then that's a possibility. Another thing it could be is simply he just discovers something new about himself, and also the idea of redemption. It's clear that I feel, at least with this, Man of Action wants to get into a lot, I guess, into a little bit more heavier themes than what we would typically expect from a Sonic show, at least coming from the 2010s and into, and coming off of Sonic Boom. And I don't know, I think it's pretty interesting that they're willing to, at least from the looks of things, do some nice character stuff with Sonic. So, yeah, there's that.
Hmm.
We'll never know until we get the trailers, but yeah.
Could you imagine
I think
if
it.
they messed with us so bad, like it was an amnesia story?
Oh no. No.
Could you imagine?
No, don't do
I
that.
feel like it's probably going to be like some kind of meta commentary about the franchise state, just
If I
told
don't,
through a lens of things actually happening to Sonic as a character,
if I
like just as a
don't,
person.
What?
if I don't get at least one joke of Amy trying to be passive aggressive towards Sega, and then Tails coughs because he knows what
Oh my
because he
god!
knows what she's talking about, I'm going to be upset. Because that's the best joke in all of Sonic Boom. That's the best joke in Sonic history. Because it's
Nah,
just like
Can't
the
disagree with that.
awkward,
nah,
the
I like.
awkward silence that came afterwards, and then Tails just coughing twice. Like that really so like if Tails didn't cough, the joke probably wouldn't have landed as hard as it did. But it's like him coughing was what sold it even more.
That's a good one, but if we're talking the best joke in Sonic Boom, it has to be "Who's Roger?" But
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I thought your middle name was the. Nah, his name is Sonic T Hedgehog. We saw that in the comics. But we segue into leaks.
leaks. Oh boy. All
Like
right.
the ones in
Sonic
my
Rift.
kitchen. No.
Actually,
No.
It's incredibly
Could you
easy to
imagine
just
if
write. just observe things and then write some fan fiction based on it that
Could you imagine
people will
if
think is a real leak.
Sonic Rift
Yes.
was real and it was a tie-in?
The general okay, my general consensus with leaks is just like they're fake and hilarious until something lines up.
So they're not.
You know?
Hmm.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's just like, okay, let me take a look at this, but otherwise it's like it's still probably fake. You know?
Remember during the Smash Ultimate days when someone said on 4chan that Incineroar and Ken were going to be the last two characters, and nobody
Yeah.
believed them. And look what
Yeah.
happened. They were the last two characters before release, and nobody believed them. But he said it. But it's like the Adventure 1 and 2 remake situation. I don't really care if it happens or not. But I want the Chow Garden back. Like that's literally all I wanted for. Like if we could get the Adventure 1 and 2 remakes just so I can get the Child Garden back, that's fine by me. But on top of that, though, they're playing with fire. Because if they fail to deliver on Adventure 1 and 2 remakes, and then they try to do Adventure 3 afterwards on some Crash 4 type shit, and then they fail that too, you might as well just pack up your bags and go home because
Yeah,
it's not about to work out anymore for you. Because
that's
it's like
gonna kill
I
Yeah.
any hope.
I could see them
Adventure
seeing
is
the
playing with
success
fire.
of I could see them seeing the success of the Insane trilogy and the Reignited trilogy, and also if they're paying attention, the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes, and then like, oh, remakes are really taking over. Let's remake Adventure 1 and 2. Everybody wants that, and then they remake Adventure 1 and 2, which segues into us getting Adventure 3. I could see them doing something
Which would
like
be a
that.
good soft reboot for the series.
True.
True, because you could use 1 and 2 to be like, all right, those things kind of happened, but they're not that important anymore. So just focus on this right now. and then you have Adventure 3. To be completely honest, though, I'm upset that they kind of. I feel like I know this is kind of off topic, but I feel like Unleashed would have been a nice plot for an Adventure 3, but like they used
That's
it
fair.
in Unleashed instead of for Adventure 3. But it's like that's just a little quick side thing. But it's like all these leaks going around about Snacko Rift, and it's about him running around with the boost again, and he gotta earn it. And this leak is clearly true because the guy who said that the custom character was gonna happen in
Yeah.
Forces is the one who said that Rift was gonna happen. So clearly,
Actually,
it's
that's
really gonna
the
happen, guys.
Actually, nah. The guy that said the custom character is the Sonic Adventure 3. Sorry, the Sonic Adventure remakes.
You're
And
so
yeah, the thing about the Sonic Adventure remakes, which is like why, like with any leak, it's basically a word of mouth thing. Like it's just that we don't know where the information is coming. Like we don't know for sure where the information is coming from because of course sources are going to keep themselves quiet. They're not like if they're actually legit, they're not going to say who they are because that will get them in a ton of trouble. But it's just like with the adventure remakes, it's just very hard to believe due to it just being people are saying one thing and it's just like there's that's pretty
Yeah,
much it. Nothing to really nothing outside of picking up patterns that you can really you
see,
know.
Yeah.
with the Adventure 3 like possibility being a soft reboot, you run the risk of taking Sonic Heroes like out of existence. And I mean, are you really willing to make that sacrifice?
I mean Sonic
a small
Heroes also
sacrifice.
gets rid of Shadow, so you gotta do what you gotta do, you know?
Please go. Please do that. I'm, yeah, get rid of Shadow. Do what you gotta do. Make sure that shit doesn't happen. But it's just there's a whole lot of fire being tested right now,
Yeah.
and then and then you got the freaking Snacko tubers blowing the shit out of proportion. I
Yeah.
cracked the code. I know what Sonic's doing in 2021. Like we were like,
Yeah.
okay, all right, guys. This is a
Off
whole bunch
topic,
of extra shit.
actually, never mind. It would probably cause some
Then just
stuff.
don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Mhm.
Landy, how do you feel about the leaks?
I think they're a crock of shit until proven otherwise, and certain
Shit.
things lining up is not proving
Yeah.
otherwise. Like the first, I think like one of the first leaks that came out was like, as you know, Roger has been considering retiring or wanting to
Yeah.
retire from acting, and then you literally just hear Roger say, "Oh yeah, I'm just stepping down from Sonic. I'm still going to be doing voice acting, so stay tuned." It's like,
Mhm.
cool. Like Roger stepping down and being replaced by Ben Schwartz is like not a far-fetched guess to make. Neither is like a show being made, because I heard that there was a leak about that as well.
Yes.
That predicted a show, but like Ben Schwartz is a fucking like TV person. If you're recasting Roger and getting Ben, which is what the leaks dictate, then of course you're gonna get of course you're gonna think of a fucking TV show being made, or just a show.
Mhm.
A lot of and like the whole Zuko was pissed off about the state of forces and like other stupid shit like that. Like
Anybody would.
Yeah.
the team is like changing around. It's like literally all you need to know, to come to that conclusion is just fucking look at how Sega's just handling all this shit. They're handled like a dumpster fire
Yep.
quite a bit, and the restructure I think might do them some good.
Mhm.
It's not hard to see all this and come to a conclusion from that. A lot of people underestimate the just creative writing ability of people who make like fake leaks and shit.
Yeah.
Most of these leak creators could be Arthurs, and then they get out here how they.
And I guarantee like some of the people who are playing off of each other's information aren't even related to each other, so they're just fabricating shit and like, game jacking basically.
Pretty
They
much.
see leaks that get a lot of traction, and they try to build off of those to make their leak get more traction, and try to start this whole
Yeah.
thing that starts a whole surge of YouTube videos talking about it. I mean, we're no better because we're talking about them, but that's not the point. The point is,
True.
it'll start a whole series of people talking about these leaks, and it's just like, I don't know why you're doing this, because you're not getting anywhere with it. Like
There are people who think that these leaks are like 100% confirmed real for
Yeah.
no good reason, and it just doesn't make any like sense. Like what? Why would you get your hopes up on this thing that you have no direct proof of other than a guy typing on 4chan, which literally anybody
Exactly.
can do? So you put so much faith, and then on the off chance that something happens to line up, kind of, it's like, I guess it was all real. Like, for fuck's sake, it's just tiring.
Like we had
I-
freaking Xeno make the logo for like Xeno made that
Oh
logo
yeah,
for
that's
Sonic
right.
Rift. And
That's
you see
right.
how it blew. You see how it blew up when it happened, and it's like he didn't even mean to do that, but it
Yeah,
happened.
That was
'Cause
honestly
people
so
will
fun.
grasp at straws. Like, people will grasp at straws,
I
and
could-
then
I could fucking write a fake Sonic Rift leak, and it would be easy as fuck.
I could put like with the Sonic
Yeah.
game idea that I've talked about before, that I talked about in like servers before. I could put that on 4chan and see how, and then have all the attention start flowing in, because people are gonna believe it, because it's gonna be things they want to hear. So of course they're gonna believe it, and of course it's gonna surge a whole bunch of videos, and all I gotta do is tag Sonic Rift on top of it, and everybody will look for it. Or all I gotta do is tag Sonic Adventure 3 on top of it. All I got, and it's like,
Whoa, did you say Sonic Adventure
It's
3?
fi-
It's happening? For real?
I'm gonna hit him. But like basically, it's like you can manipulate the system just by saying things like, "Oh, so the Adventure 1 and 2 remakes are going to be happening in 2021." But as a follow-up, due to the success of those games, when they do succeed, because of course they are, then we're going to get Sonic Adventure 3. And I have an inside look of exactly what's going to happen with Sonic Adventure 3. And then just be like, "Oh, it follows one big plot instead of multiple plots." And then it's like, "Oh, you have these playable characters," and people eat that shit up.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you sound smart, anything can come across as truthful.
Exactly, that's the problem. People are
like-
too easily tricked in this fandom.
The only reason that Sonic Rift, for example, currently has any slight ground is because it briefly mentions that the story has something to do with Sonic traveling dimensions, and it's like, oh, Sonic Prime, it's real, you know. It's just, it's terrific, all of it. I think though,
But yeah. My thing is though too, I really hope
Oh.
that the next, because I feel like not a lot of people have been speaking about this either, but I really hope that the next Sonic game doesn't have anything to do with traveling across dimensions, because we literally have 2 games with anthropomorphic animals that are already doing that. One being Crash 4, which came out already, and one being Ratchet and Clank Ripped Apart, which is coming out soon. So it's like, why add a third anthropomorphic animal hopping across dimensions into the mix? So you don't have to do that.
Because this time it'll be fast.
That's a good point.
Because it's just like, cause you're gonna have Crash 4. It's about time.
Oh my god!
Sonic.
Wait.
The freaking Ratchet and Clank Ripped Apart, and then Sonic Fabric. I don't fucking know.
Listen.
And they're gonna do
Listen,
something.
hear me out here. Sonic,
No.
Set AM, and Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog
No.
and Sonic Underground, they're owned by Deke Entertainment, and Deke is now owned by Wilder Brain. So hear me out.
Dingo, Sleet and Dingo,
Oh.
I mean,
Queen Alina, Mannequin Sonia.
I don't
I'm not
know.
saying
I
it's
mean,
not impossible.
I think Wild Brain literally just distributes them when they can. I don't think they really care about doing anything new with them.
If Wild Brain's in charge, and this is supposed to be a multiverse, I can't wait for Sonic to meet the Teletubbies.
Sonic's gonna meet Johnny Test because Wild Brain owns that. So
Can't wait.
Oh, yeah, another thing about like fake leaks and shit.
Yeah.
And why you should not do them is if what you're making actually happens to like come close to like if the fake leak you're writing happens to actually come close to what is being made internally, you're risking people's jobs. And I know a lot of the people who write that kind of shit don't give a fuck, but that's livelihoods.
And
that's why I don't fuck with fake leaks.
It's also the fact too where it's like if you get and then it's like if you get close, they're gonna expect that same person. I mean, I know a lot of people go anonymous, but then it's like if you get anywhere close to what's like going on, then they're gonna expect you to be able to do it every single time a new game is about to come out.
That's true.
Yep.
And then it's like that's not. I'm just like no. Like I got lucky. I was writing down some bullshit. If anything, if I wrote down a bullshit.
Oh, okay. Now look at the Smash community. What's it with Verge Ben? Oh, okay. But now to get yeah, no. Like with Verge Ben, what's it? He pretty much got a ton of things right. Coming up to the release of Smash.
He got everything right.
Yeah,
he got everything right because before Ultimate came out, he said that Daisy Ridley, Inkling, and he said Daisy Ridley and Inkling are going to be newcomers, right? Inkling we knew already. Ridley happened, and Daisy happened, and then he also said that Ken and Incineroar were going to be the last 2 characters in the base fighter in the base game, and that also happened. So he was actually getting things right when he did it.
But now the point.
So that really made you believe that he was really doing something.
I know, but then at one point his credibility started to wane because he also said Steve and Erdrick, and those didn't happen immediately. No, I know, but I'm saying those didn't happen immediately. And people were like, "Oh, Verge Ben is wrong now," and like they eventually did. But it's like because of the fact that when you're making these leaks, and even if you're right, even if things take a long time, it's like you could be the hot topic of the week, and then you could just be, oh, you were quote unquote wrong about this. You're no longer credible ever anymore. We move on to the next one, and the next one, and the
See,
next
exactly.
one.
Because you
And
could
it's
do
just like,
you could do a leak on the next Sonic game. You could do a leak on the next Sonic game saying, "Oh, Sonic
Yeah.
Shadow and Silver are going to be playable again," and then that happens, and then it's like, okay, cool. Oh, the game is going to be fully 3D. That happens. Okay, cool. All right, this guy has some credibility. The story is going to take a more serious tone than what happened in the 2010s. That happens. Okay, this guy kind of knows what he's talking about. Oh, Eggman's going to be a playable character. He's not. Oh, well, his credibility's done. You can't trust him no more.
hmm and it's like, oh,
And it's like,
That's just how the internet is.
because you know how after the whole Kenan and Cineworld thing, Virgin then kind of disappeared off the face of the earth. But technically,
Yeah.
though, even though he wasn't right about when Steve and Erdrick were coming, they did come.
no, I
Technically,
know,
was still right.
but I'm saying like how the internet reacted because it didn't happen immediately, and
Yeah, because
yeah,
when they hear a leak, they expect that shit to happen 2 days later. when
yeah, exactly.
it's that all the Nintendo Direct leaks that happen, and it's just like it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a
We're
lot.
coming
And
up on.
it's
Sorry, go ahead.
it's just the leaks got to calm down too, because then another thing that leaks really do, another thing that leaks do a lot that people don't really bring up that much is that when a leak starts going around, or when a rumor starts going around, and it's something that sounds really good, and then what we actually get does not match up to this really good sounding thing, and it's actually a little bit worse, than people
Yeah.
get their hopes up for this thing that wasn't even confirmed in the first place, and then they set themselves up for failure for believing in all these leaks and stuff. Because, for example, when Sonic Runners was making its rounds, before we knew that the entire game was going to be based off of Lost World's levels and Lost World's aesthetic, they were saying things like, "Oh, there's going to be a full-fledged story. There's going to be like there's going to be like city level and like a level based on like Seaside Hill or something like that." Back when those leaks were coming out before Runners got officially revealed, and then when that didn't happen, people got upset because that's not what happened. For example, I'm like taking it out of Sonic real quick. Pokemon leaks really get on my nerves because a lot of people who do Pokemon rumors and leaks and stuff say things that I really want to see, and it low-key gets my hopes up a tiny bit. And it's like, it hurts because I know for a solid fact that what I see in these leaks that I actually want is not gonna happen. And it's like, it's a repeating cycle every single time a new game comes out for anything, and it's like, it's not gonna end, and people still haven't learned their lessons yet.
Yeah. Unfortunately, though, it looks like we're gonna be coming up on more leaks very soon because South by Southwest is coming. So.
Oh boy. Can't wait for someone to announce on 4chan that they know the entire panel.
You see, no, trust me. Sonic Labyrinth is getting a sequel, and that is going to be our 30th anniversary game.
It's going to tie in with the IDW Classic miniseries.
Yes.
Whenever that even happens.
Oh boy.
It's a fun
Do you remember that?
Ooh.
Remember that time when Sega, like during the 25th anniversary event, they revealed the logo before the trailer for Sonic Mania?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember a lot from that thing except for the fact that the live stream was garbage because it kept lagging and doing all this other stupid stuff.
Tino's
It left quite a bit to be desired.
I'm not gonna lie though, when I first saw Mania, I honestly thought, because the first thing that they showed for Mania was Green Hill, so I honestly thought it was just them doing Sonic 1 again. And I'm like, are y'all serious? Like, again?
I thought it was a remake of all three games.
I'm like, why do you keep doing this? Like, and then I saw Studiopolis, I'm like, that's new. And then it was like Sonic Mania. I'm like, that's not Sonic 1. The fuck is going on here? And I was just confused. Sonic 4. It's the real Sonic 4. Or is Sonic Advance the real Sonic 4? I don't fucking know.
It's just, yeah.
The trailer was still hyped though.
Oh, definitely. Checkpoint is great. Hyper Potions needs to do more Sonic stuff, please. Like, keep bringing them back. Yeah,
not Tyson has. T-Lopes. T-Lopes. Oops, my bad.
I mean, both of them would be pretty great.
Tyson has does too, but T-Lopes is who I meant to say.
Just bring
And
everything
it's
back.
Truly.
like, it's just, yeah, like I hope the music kind of gets back to its old glory, because Forces was alright, but it's like it's not
Forces
Generations.
Forces is a very themed game in terms of soundtrack, so well, there's that. But even then,
Am I the only one that likes Force's soundtrack?
No, because I said before that Forces, the only thing it did right was the music.
It's okay.
I like it.
I've heard better, but it's not terrible.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Word. I prefer it to Shadows soundtrack, but we're not gonna talk about that.
What's is the only one I know,
I think
but only
we've
because you have to play it 10 times.
Yeah.
And then the
We've
better remix,
covered all.
and then the better remix of Westopolis is in Forces, so it's like you don't even have to go listen to Shadow. Anyway,
But yeah.
We've
We
covered all sorts of ground.
yeah,
It's
I think that moves into final thoughts
this
and the
is
future of Snacko.
yeah. This is like a 2-hour video.
I can't really
Ooh, I'm
comment
gonna have
on that
fun.
unless
But
This is gonna be a chunk, man. But
yeah.
Landy, you go first. Final thoughts in the future of Snacko.
Yeah.
I there's definitely going to be a directional shift, and whether it's for the better, we'll have to see. But the things that are happening seem like they're happening for the better, for the most part. The voice actor things, I think, are bittersweet, or could be bittersweet. They could just be all for nothing, but so far they're bittersweet.
Mhm.
So that's like the only part that I'm kind of taking issue with. But if the rest of the series, like if the creative control is being handed over to folks like Flynn and Tyson and like other, like really dedicated, basically fanatics turned professional writers, then, that's awesome. And it feels like that's the direction it's steering, what with Flynn working on the official encyclopedia. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how Sonic sort of changes. What do the rest of you think?
should I go next?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure.
Yeah.
Uh, with the 2010s, I think Sega learned what works for Sonic and what doesn't. Forces being the final straw, and with the amount of fans that have like gathered around, fans with like knowledge of the series and like can make good games and write good stories, Sega now has those at its disposal. Like if they use them for like from now on, I think Sonic can get better a lot.
Alright, this is Waze's channel, so I feel like he should be the one to close it out. So I'll go next. Basically, the whole thing with me is I'll believe I'll believe it when I see it. If everything is for the better, if all these changes are for the better, that's great. But I won't believe it's for the better until I actually see that it's for the better, because I've learned my lesson when it comes to getting my hopes up when it comes to this whole thing. And it's like I want it to be better because again, Sonic is one of my favorite video game franchises. So watching it be like how it was for the past however many years, and it's like you'd think that hearing that after all of that just trash boat and garbage, that they'd finally found what they needed to do to get us back on track. But it's like they got us back on track with Generations, and then they dropped the ball again 2 years later with Lost World. So it's like you can't even really get your hopes up all that much. And then when we were leading into something that looked good, like Forces, dropped the ball again. So you really, it's like I don't want to sound as pessimistic as I sound right now, but it's like it's just the whole matter of
You have every
I'll
right to.
believe it. Yeah, it's just the whole matter of I'll believe it when I see it,
That's
and
what
it's like just do the right things and Ian Flynn for Sonic writer and Max Middleman for Sonic hashtag on Twitter. Get it trending.
Alright, well, I think to close, Sonic has had a very rocky history when transitioning to 3D. And
I'm
no,
going to punch
Oh
you
my
in
god.
your neck.
it had to be done. This is a Sonic video. No,
I'm going to beat you for that.
do it. But no. In regards to the future of this franchise and where everything is going, it's very, for the past couple of years it has been very uncertain. And as we see new things happen, like Sonic Prime being a thing, a lot of the voice actors going away, and just with the 30th anniversary here, that game looming over the horizon, there's so many things that very well could happen, but also we have, as I mentioned earlier, we have a little bit of clarity when it comes to Sonic Prime. At least we can, well, not perfect, it's at least, this is a thing going out to more general audiences of Sonic, so from Sega's more collaboration than that of the movie, so there's a chance that this could be what we're looking at and where we're going, and it's exciting. Definitely have to hold out and just hope for the best that things are done well. We've been through a lot as Sonic fans, and you never know. You never know what you could get, but I don't know. I like what I'm seeing. I'm hoping for the best. Cautious optimism. And yeah, I think okay. But I guess that will do for this discussion video and just everything that we've had going on. This started as a discussion of Sonic Rift, but pretty much went everywhere. But I think it was a good discussion.
Well, Sonic
to have.
Prime.
Yeah, Sonic. I said Sonic Rift. Gosh darn it. But this started as what Landy had said, but yeah, and it's fun to look towards the future, fun to look back at the past, and just kind of see where we're going. But yeah, I guess that will do for all of this. Thank you so much to the three of you, Anima, Soul, and Landy, for coming and participating in this video. I greatly appreciate it.
I appreciate being here.
No problem.
Check.
Paycheck. That'll come probably. But
One
yeah,
of these days, maybe.
yeah.
I don't
You see,
have the money yet.
I gotta go.
I'm not liking what I'm hearing right now.
That's why I gotta go, and that's why I gotta quickly close this video so that I don't have to pay. But yeah, it's been a fun time. What do you all think of Sonic Prime and the future of this franchise? The voice actors, everything. I really want to hear that. And yeah, be sure to check out both mine and all of these guys' social media, which will be linked in the description below. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. And with all of that said, this has been Lyoko Gem, warping out.